The family institution is the most important institution. If we want to change the world, it has to start from changing the family. Because once someone is properly grounded with the right values, with love and everything, and you move with that, it just goes with you.
Yeah.
Your personality goes with you everywhere you go. If a man is whole, the world, the family is whole, the society is whole. More than 70 to 80% of the world leaders are men. So if you have broken men as leaders, what happens? You have a broken system, you have a broken world.
Okay, everybody. So you're welcome once again to another episode and the series is what is your idea of a good marriage? And it's very important we have this conversation because it's very important for us to have peace, love, and joy in our relationships. So therefore, we are going to have this discussion. And as you can see, I have a lovely guest today. Lovely guest today. And to be honest with you, we'll be diving into another refined topic, like subtopic of this. We'll be talking about a man's mental health in sustaining a good marriage. A man's mental health in sustaining a good marriage. And to discuss this, I have my one and only Mr. Ikponmwosa Asuen.
Yes.
But IK for short.
Yes, just go with IK.
IK for sure. Okay. Okay. So Mr. IK here, he is a life coach, an author, a financial advisor, and an advocate for men's mental health. And one thing I like about him is that, he's actually very vulnerable. He's very vulnerable. Like he expresses his feelings, his emotions. And one thing that we know with the male gender is that we have trouble sometimes getting them to talk and express themselves.
You can add Mr. Vulnerability to it.
Okay, Mr. Vulnerability.
I'm just joking.
Yeah. So yes, Mr. Vulnerability. Yeah, Mr. Vulnerability. You know why? Because it's hard for you to actually find someone that'll be vulnerable with you. That'll be vulnerable. So, but first of all, before I go on, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on the show and on a topic like this with you. I know we've had conversations kind of similar before on my show, so it's a pleasure to be with you one-on-one. I think that one was a group interview. Yeah. So thank you for all that you do, and I look forward to this interview.
All right, you're most welcome. So we're going to go into it. Like vulnerability, as you said, being vulnerable. And I had a post on my page one time that being honest is different, being transparent is different, and being vulnerable is different.
Yep.
But you can go to my page and watch that. But vulnerability is something that is a gift that somebody gives you, because I might look okay on the outside. I might look like everything is okay. I might have my job. I have all of that. Everything is fine. But if I don't tell you what is going on inside, you would have no idea. And so I will be vulnerable. It's like a gift. I will give it to you like, okay, this is what is going on, because you will never know. You understand? Mm-hmm. So now, from your point of view, why did you choose to be vulnerable? Why?
That's a good question. I think it's a lot of things. One, I think it was a calling. I feel it was a calling from God, because all the things had gone through, boiled up to the top. So the things I'd gone through from when I was a kid, from relationships. So when they happened, I was like, okay, I'll get past it. I'll carry on with life. Life will be good. Something happens again. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get past it. So it was just boiling up. It got to the top. It was pouring over. I couldn't leave anymore. I had to breathe. Ooh. So it's just like, it's filled up. Like I'm dying. I want to breathe. I'm like, the only way you're going to breathe is just let things out. So the reason why I say it's a calling, because I think God had to let it fill up, because I was never going to let it out. I was always going to suppress it.
Wow.
Right? So God had to let me get filled up.
Wait.
Since I'm unwilling Several times I thought of it. I was like, no, 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 suppress it. And it had to come out. So
now I want to ask a question from that angle, like why, especially men, why do we have a struggle to really express our emotions, how we feel, be honest with yourself. Don't live in denial about who you are. Understand?
Okay. Yeah. So they say there's this saying that train a child how to grow up, right? And when he grows up, he does not depart from it. So the society built us this way. When you're young, they say man up. When you do something that shows your emotions, they make you suppress it, or your peers will laugh at you. Right? So you start to suppress. Early on, just learn to suppress. So the best way to be a man, your coping mechanism is suppress, suppress, suppress till you become stuck and imprisoned in suppression that you don't even know any way out. Like it's like in a prison, the padlock is open, the lock is open, but you're touching this thing. Like, how do I get out? It's open right there.
My God.
But you never knew it, that's the way to just get out. So you're stuck, but it's open. It's just for you to open the door and come out. No, you're holding the bar. Like, release, help me. So that's just the way it is. The society built us that way. Our teachers, our parents, our peers, you understand? Everyone, even the media, everything is just, it's been against us.
Yes. Yeah, we just condition the male gender to be like that. And that's why we need to have all of these conversations that, it's okay to, change the narrative. It's okay to break through. It's okay to speak out. It's okay to live free, Yeah.
And coming to that question, when you said, why did I choose? So I said, first of all, it's a calling. The second one is because of the pain. And when I was growing up, I've always been this guy that wants to help, wants to advise, wants to help. So when I discovered the freedom that lied behind all the suppression and the pains, I felt so many other men were going through the same thing. So what can I do? I can't reach them, like go meet them, say, hey, this is how it is. The only way I can do is to keep sharing. Keep sharing. Like they say, Christ died for our sins, right? So we can be cleansed of our sins, right? Now, the reason why the Bible says we should be Christ-like, it's not because we should say we are Jesus Christ. No, we should behave like Jesus Christ, like be vulnerable, sacrifice. The best way to be Christ-like is to be vulnerable. Vulnerable with anything that's happened inside you. Release it. It's okay. People will laugh. Like they criticize Christ, right? They will laugh at you, right? Share. For some people to be healed. Right? Because some people will hear like, oh my God, thank you. It's just the fact that they know that it's not only them going through that situation, right? It makes them free.
And I think, sometimes, we think we know God, but we don't really know him. Because that's the whole point of Jesus or knowing him is the truth.
Yes.
You cannot continue to lie and say, oh, maybe at home you cried your eyes out, there was probably domestic violence in there, or there was something in there or whatever, then you pancake everything, and then you go onto the stage, oh, I will bless you.
Yes.
God just looking at you like, who are you fooling? Is
That's
that not
hypocrisy? You're deceiving yourself.
Is that not a lie? So, but if you actually understand the God that we're saying that we know, you will see that there are a lot of things about us will change. You see, he is the truth himself. He is the truth. So now, going back to that topic, because I don't want us to deviate, going back to the topic of what's your idea of a good marriage. And I know that, in having a good marriage, you have to live in the truth, basically. But let me just go, I would just ask you that question before we go into other things that, an idea of a good marriage. Why do we need to have this conversation? Why is it important for us to have?
I think it's not just important, it's very important to have this conversation. And the reason why I say it's very important because our society, the world we live in, is a combination of families. So you see the way things, when you want to plant a seed, it starts from a seed.
Mm.
So everything you see in the world, the society, the leaders, it all started from families. So if the family is not functional, the world is not functional. So once people go into a relationship, the marriage is messed up, the man is messed up, the woman's messed up, you're probably going to mess up the child. Everyone's going to grow up and go out to society and carry the mess on. Then the whole society starts suffering. Like someone becomes a president and starts misbehaving, messing the full country up. Everybody becomes messed up. Why? It's starting from the family. So the family institution is the most important institution. If we want to change the world, it has to start from changing the family.
Yes, preach it. We're going to loud it. We are loud.
No, it's very important. It has to start from the family, right?
Yes. Yes.
It has to start from the family. From there, you can move. Because once someone is properly grounded with the right values, you know, with love and everything, and you move with that, it just goes with you.
Yeah.
Your personality goes with you everywhere you go, every single way you go.
Everywhere.
So I think that's very important.
To that question about what is your idea of a good marriage? So you're now talking from your experience, and even as like speaking on behalf of men, because sometimes we women, we think we understand men, but we don't. To be honest with you, I have never lived one day in my life as a man, so I have no idea what it is like. To be honest with you, we don't understand you guys. You guys don't understand us, but we're just trying to understand. So when a man thinks of marriage, because sometimes I feel like men feel like they're coming to be bound, like a bondage. Like you want me to just stay with one person, it's like it's gonna be boring. Like one person, like I was watching a video, like men, like they're like lions, or like just want to go and hunt and whatever. And when you now come to like a place like you want to be tamed, so you must get to a point where you choose that for yourself to want to be there. And that's why if you're not really prepared for marriage, when you get in there, you just see that I'm not really ready for this.
Now, speaking from my own perspective and from a man's perspective, I think women are probably a little bit better equipped when it comes to preparing for marriage, right? Men are not properly equipped in the sense that no one tells you what it is to be a husband. No one tells you what it is. When I mean no one, it's not like some fathers don't, they do, but a larger percentage says nothing to their kids. If they have to, maybe last minute, oh, what are you going to tell? It's just like you want to go into an exam. Last minute, like 2 + 2 is 4, and 5 plus this is 40, and this is this. Everything's going to get mumbled in your head.
Yeah.
Right? You can't tell them last minute. You have to be, continuously, ingraining it in that child's brain from when they were young. So it's easy. It becomes a part of them. Right? So most times we're not prepared for what it is to be a husband. Most times we're not prepared for what it is to be a father. Right? We're not even prepared for what it is to be a boyfriend. So most times when you're a boyfriend, start dating girls, your father never told you that this is what you do. This is
that's even if there's a father in the picture. For
me, I never got that. I made lots of mistakes, loads of mistakes. That those mistakes spilled into my own relationship till she had her own, till it blew out. When it blew out, I was like, what the hell? What's this? How does this even work, Seth? I started looking at it like, how does this work? Oh, wow. But then it's already blown out. So basically, I think the best way for anyone, and this has to do with the man and the woman, to start any relationship, is to first of all, discover who you are. Know yourself. If you don't have clarity of who you are, you bring confusion into that family. Because you're in the relationship with another person that doesn't maybe know herself as well. Double confusion, trying to figure each other out. So there's clashes, left and right, center. You might be two different kinds of people. Or you guys came in for the wrong reason. Just, beautiful girl. Oh, she's nice. Oh, handsome guy. Oh, cute. He's got the money. It's cute. Oh, nice. And that's all. And then all those other things that are key, all those other things that make you who you are, starts clashing with each other on a regular basis. Then it's a dysfunctional home. So just because no one does the work before getting into a relationship, you're in a big mess. And the kids will suffer as a result of that.
From everything that you're even saying, I feel like, if you decide to say, okay, I want to have a marriage in the future, because at the end of the day, it's not everybody that should get married. It's not everybody. So please, if you're watching this, it's very okay for you to decide that I don't want to get married. I think that is fine.
Yes.
Because it takes a lot of work. So if you assess it, because number one, what I think is that most of the time we are just by our feelings, our emotions, and we don't really think about what we are doing in the first place. Or have this feeling for this girl or this boy or whatever, and then you don't really think about anything. So I think singles or young people, because I have a passion for young people too, so should actually calm down. Just calm down. Calm down and think about what you want to do. Think about the kind of family. Think about your future. Think about
no rush.
All the feelings.
Assess everything.
But we don't. And that's why I said that it's very okay for you to say, okay, I don't want to get married. Because I would rather you say, be honest with yourself that I don't want to get married, than you go in there, you don't really know what you're doing. You just make a mess. We'll make a mess. So
I'll say this. I'll say this, right? You could destroy yourself if you get into a wrong relationship and you'll be damaged for life. You'll never recover. Some people will never recover. Some, it takes the grace of God to ever get themselves back again. Why? Because they just did not start right. They didn't get it right before they got in. So take your time, even if it takes 20 years, it's better. Because if it takes 20 years to find that relationship and get in the right relationship, you'll be peaceful, enjoy your life, be successful the rest of your life. But if you rush into it, rush early, you'll suffer for the rest of your life.
So preparation.
So go through the struggles of getting the right one and enjoy, then go through ease and suffer.
Yeah. Okay. Now the next question I want to ask is a man's mental health in sustaining a good marriage. Because if we enter the marriage now, because there's like when you talk about marriage, it's so broad, like we can come into different. So and I know that one of the things that we struggle with in marriage is the men's mental health, whereby, and so I was watching the movie last night, and the person said that a relationship is different from a marriage. Like when you're dating is different from when you're actually in the marriage.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of mental strength and capacity to go through every boring day, every day. The nitty-gritty, even being a parent, So how? And I know that this is where the men fall out. What's wrong with this woman? Oh, her body's changing, or she's not paying attention to me. She's not like the person So what are those struggles from a man's point of view? How do they struggle in maintaining their mental health? And sometimes that's why cheating comes in, affairs or whatever. Okay, I'm not getting it at home, or I don't know what I'm doing, suppressing everything, and they don't even know, going to substance abuse, like so many other things like that. So what are the struggles of a man, in a marriage that you think, like in a relationship, that they struggle with their mental health?
Okay, a man's mental health when it comes to relationship, it starts from, like what I said before, just knowing yourself as a man. Discovering who you are as a man. So without even getting into a relationship, most men struggle with mental health issues. So childhood trauma, school bullying, right? All those things are already existing. Then you look at the society, what are the people doing? They're getting married, they're making money. Okay, let me just go make money, get married. Now, how do I show that all those things that I suffered from, bullying, childhood trauma, I want to show now that I'm okay. So you start making a lot of money, and you start trying to take care of your family and everything. And once it doesn't work that way, you fall back to home. But I thought I did everything.
And that's not
but the main thing that you're supposed to do, you did not do, which is discovering who you are. What are your values, right? Trying to work on the things that happen to you, release it. And, sometimes when certain things happen, we develop a coping mechanism that we always hang on to. Now, that coping mechanism might be good for you when you're a kid, becomes detrimental to you when you're an adult. Now, maybe something happened to you and they abuse you, they bully you. You just keep quiet when you're a kid.
Talk about it.
Right? Okay, that's good for you. So that without you won't get into fights, nothing will happen to you when you're a kid. But when you grow up and people talk, you're in the office, someone's trying to bully you, instead of speaking up for yourself, right? You keep quiet. That will eat your soul. It will continuously eat you up. Or your wife is doing certain things rather than, communicate with her, because you're not very communicative. When you're young, you carry that same coping mechanism to your relationship. Now, instead of communicating with her, you keep it inside of you and you don't talk to her for 2 days, 3 days. So all of that damages it. So the first thing first, when it comes to your mental health, just acknowledge the fact that there's something there. Just go do. People need to do a lot of work before they get into a relationship. Go clear yourself. It's like,
my question is, and I know I've seen you on several interviews, you're talking about like you go into different rooms, like different interviews, and you see women going to educate themselves, going for this seminar. Why is it that we struggle with the men, like in numbers, like doing the same thing? Most of the time, the men they're not proactive, working on this. There's a lot to work on, learning and unlearning. Why is it a struggle? Why?
Okay, I will use the letter P to describe this, what you just talked about now. And society created it as well. The reason why I focus on men's mental health, because I know we need to release ourselves. We're in prison. We just need to release ourselves. So I'm trying. It's just one man can't. A lot of people have to buy into it and start seeing, okay, this is what it is, right? We're in prison. And the world can be a better place if the man is whole. Because majority of the leaders we have are men, starting from the home. The man is the leader of the home. If the woman is whole and the woman knows God, knows everything, and the man is not, the house is still dysfunctional.
Guess what? One phrase that I heard recently said, a king determines the characteristics of his kingdom.
Yes.
The man, the king, determines, yes. No matter how you determine the characteristics of your kingdom. So if you are a good head, it will be easy. A good environment. If you are,
it's easy. But if it's just the woman, it's hard. If the man is a Christian and is whole and everything, it's so easy for the wife to slowly just buy in. But if it's the woman, it's work, hard work. See the case of Osinachi, right? She's a Christian gospel, but she was struggling inside because the man, no. So when men are healed, when men are whole, it is the whole world will benefit from it. That's why when I do some of my men's mental health, it's like, why men? Why not women? It feels like I'm segregating. No, I'm not. It starts from the roots. We are the root cause of the problems we have in the world. Yes. If a man is whole, the family is whole. Like I said, it starts from the family. Family is whole. The society is whole. More than 70 to 80% of the world leaders are men. So if you have broken men as leaders, what happens? You have a broken system. You have a broken world.